Hello guys and girls, welcome back to the Racing Line for another circuit guide here on iRacing. This is week 12 of season 3 2022 in the fixed GT4 challenge, with once again with me driving the Aston Martin Vantage GT4. This week's circuit and the final circuit of the season is Virginia International Raceway. The full layout and the date and time is set to the 3rd of September 2022 at 2:15 in the afternoon to match the official race time sent out in the season 3 PDF. All circuit guides use the sprint setup as it is a fixed series, same format as before. Breakdown lap followed by a full speed uninterrupted lap followed by an offboard lap, and as usual this is filmed before the week has begun, so it's difficult to compare lap times, but let's see if we can help you guys find some time around this actually quite tricky but long circuit. So on the main straight, you want to drift over to the left hand side, ready for the sharp braking zone of turn 1 in between the 4 and the 3 board on the left hand side. Hard on the brakes from 6th right the way down through the gears. Look at that, hard on the brakes down into 3rd gear. 2nd was a little bit too unstable. You can accelerate nice and smoothly, holding it tight to the right hand side on the exit, keeping it to the right as you go up into 4th gear, and then turn in towards this curb on the apex on the left in 4th gear. Before changing to 5th, you're going to brake at the end of the curb on the left, and then come out to the right hand side of the circuit, down to 3rd, hit this apex, coasting in, and then accelerate after the apex. Your next braking zone comes up pretty fast. It's about 1 second after the curb ends. You're going to go up into 4th and then get hard on those brakes down to 3rd. This is a tricky section. Down into 3rd gear, coast into this left, and now watch the throttle through here. Accelerating, lift, and then accelerate again. We wasn't a full lift, it was a half lift to get to nose in. Out to the left hand side of the circuit, another full lift, up into 4th gear to the right hand side, and now we're back on that throttle flat out all the way through. And look at the steering wheel, left, right, all the way through that section, because the rear end is so unstable through there. It's a tricky little section to get right, but once you do nail it, it feels great, and you do have to put some wheels in the dirt, which is why it feels risky through there. Flat out through these two, and then a quick lift into this final right. Again, a half lift on the throttle. Our next braking zone is a tricky one. It's just as we come over the brow of this hill. Start sharp stab of the brakes down to 4th, and then straight back on that power as you hit the apex. It's really easy to go off there, so be careful. Next braking zone, the number 3 board on the left hand side. That is a really tricky corner we just gone around, and so is this one. Hard on the brakes down to 3rd gear, hit that apex right out to the left, and then coast in to that final apex of the tree before you get back straight back on that power in 3rd gear. Again, 2nd was a little bit too unstable, and 3rd felt much more comfortable and easier to get that power down for this long back straight. So you can see here we've got one more section of corners coming up. It's a nice little breather. You go up into 6th gear, keep it on the right hand side. You've got this dirt patch on the right and a little arrow just there where the arrow's pointing, the little arrow sign. That's where we're going to start braking, turning in hard on the brakes, down the gears from 6th down to 3rd, and you can see we broke towards the middle of the circuit as it comes round, and then into the right, and then flat out down this hill, down this left-hander, over to the right-hand side of the circuit, and then as the dirt patch ends on the right-hand side, that's where we're going to lift off and start turning in, and use the brakes ever so slightly. You can see about 30% pressure there. Keep it in 4th all the way through here, feathering the throttle, feathering the brake, get it turned into that right-hand side, but be careful as you accelerate through that final corner. You want to keep it on the right, really, for that last grey curve before you come right out to the left-hand side, because the track limits here are insane. Not in terms of 1Xs, but the grass can really pull you out and ruin your lap and your race. Let's go full speed uninterrupted now. So between the 4 and the 3, hard on the brakes, down from 6th into 3rd gear. Hold it tight to the right hand side all the way round. Slowly apply that throttle, keeping it tight to the right hand side, up into 4th gear on the exit. Keep it to the right, turn in towards the left apex curb. As the curb ends, dab the brakes down to 3rd, hit the apex curb again, and accelerate out to the right hand side. 1 second after the curb, hard on the brakes down to 3rd, turn in, hit the apex curb, accelerate out, quick lift off, accelerate out, quick lift off again, up into 4th, accelerate out. Keep 2 wheels on the track, 2 wheels on the dirt. Really risky stuff. You can see working that wheel to keep the car in a straight line. But as long as you keep that power on, you can see we were never fully off the throttle. So you can keep that power down, you can keep the speed up. Now 5th gear all the way through this, left, right, left, and then we're going to lift up at the end of the curb, back on the throttle in 5th gear, over the crest, dab the brakes down to 4th, and then accelerate as you hit that apex. Don't dip too much wheels in the grass there. 3rd board on the left, down the gears, 3rd gear, out to the left hand side, keep it in 3rd, turn in towards the tree, and accelerate from the apex point. If you can avoid that apex curb, then you can get a slightly better exit. You heard us bounce over it a little bit, which caused us to lose a little bit of traction and maybe affect our run down here. So it's only going to be worth maybe a 10th, but if you can avoid that apex curve and not bounce, then you'll get a better exit than I did down here. Up into 6th gear, arrow board on the right, hard on the brakes, down to 4th, hit the apex curve, down to 3rd, hit that right apex curve, keep it on the right, accelerate down the hill, keep it on the left, up into 4th gear. Look at the dirt patch on the right hand side. As the dirt patch ends, slightly press the brakes, keep it in 4th, get turned into that right hand side, and now look, accelerating all the way through this final section, being careful not to go too wide on the exit. Again, really close to these track limits here. The grass is, I can't stress how lethal it is, and I'm sure you'll all find out during this week, but the racing might actually be quite good round here. As usual, that is pretty much it from me. I'm going to leave you with this offboard lap. Don't forget to keep those likes and comments coming in, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Apologies for my croaky voice. You know what it's like with all that COVID business. But as usual, that is pretty much it from me. Hope you've enjoyed the guide. As I said, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And if I don't see you on track this week, then I'll see you next week for the next video here on the Racing Line. Peace!